Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel for a brand new video. And in today's video, we're gonna be unboxing this box that I have here beside me. Now, just before we do, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a backstory of what led up to this unboxing. Essentially, the background behind me, it has changed. I'm sure you all have noticed that at this point because we've definitely dropped several videos since moving into this new house. Now, in this house, I don't have a basement that I can record out of like I did in my last house. So what Lindsay and I have done is we actually converted what was supposed to be our bedroom into a recording studio for my drum set so that I can film cover videos for the channel in there, and I can also do all my session work out of that new space. Now, the amazing people at Earthworks Audio have actually helped me out with completing the space and sent me out a brand new set of drum microphones that's inside this box. Now, the really exciting part about this video for me is I actually have no idea what's inside this box. I mean, I have a general concept in mind because when I was talking with Earthworks, they asked me, so what microphones do you currently use? And I gave them a list of the microphones that I actually rent when I'm recording for bands, because I didn't in the past own all of the microphones that I wanted to use in my recordings when I was sending out drum tracks for session work. So I would usually go to my local music store, I would grab the exact microphones that I wanted in my setup, and I'd rent them for a week, do some session work, and return them. So when discussing with Earthworks, they wanted to make sure that they sent me microphones out that were gonna replace the ones that I'm currently using, and hopefully, in most cases, gonna be a bit of an upgrade for me. But as far as the exact models, not sure. Really, really excited to get in here and check it out. Without further ado, let's get into this box. Alright guys, so check it out. We got a bit of a haul here. I unboxed what was the mothership of all of these. And now we've got, looks like 3 different types of mics. So this one over here, the boxes are all the same. It reads off the front, DM20 drum microphone. And there actually is pictures on the front kind of showing off the mic. And like, I've definitely seen this microphone before. I know what we're gonna be taking a look at when we get inside that box. This one in the center here, I have 6 of, and the label on it is the SR25. And then I've got 2 of these on the side over here. These are labeled SR20 LS. And then there's something inside of this bubble wrap, so I guess we'll start with the bubble wrap. Oh, okay, so this says on it Earthworks Precision Level Pad, so I guess these are attenuators. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a sec, and it looks like there's 3 of them in here. But now I'm gonna start with some of the microphones. I wanna unbox this one first. So this is the Earthworks DM20. Okay, sweet, so upon opening up this box, we've got a DM20 drum mic, tom and snare microphone user's guide. I'll put that there for a sec. And then, as I recognize from the SR314 unboxing / review video, we've got another one of these Earthworks sleeves, and I can feel that the mic is inside of there, and that's pretty much it for the box itself. Let's open up the sleeve and take a look. Okay, there you have it. Check that out. It does come with like this mini little foam pop filter guy. I guess that would go on the front here, like that, if you wanted to. So yeah, I mean, very cool. First thing I'm noticing right away with this microphone, as I did just with the SR314s when I checked that microphone out, is that the quality here is exceptional. I mean, that's something that I'm starting to see across the board with the Earthworks products. The thing I like about them is like, there's almost no plastic involved with this build. It's all machined stainless steel. This gooseneck feels like extremely sturdy. This mount here would be, of course, how we're gonna mount this on like a tom or a snare drum, so that will attach to the rim like that, and then you can pop this guy in there like I had it. Very cool looking microphone. Let's talk about some of the features that this guy has. So something that it has on page 5 in this manual right away that I'm excited about is there's actually a diagram here. Conventional microphones, rear rejection, figure 3, and then figure 4, we have Earthworks microphones, nearly double the amount of rear rejection. Now when we're talking about rear rejection, I kind of covered this a little bit in the SR314 video. Essentially what that's gonna mean is super important for a drum mic setup, but essentially what that's gonna mean is the direction of the capsule, in this case pointing that way, anything behind it will be rejected, right? Rear rejection makes total sense. And that's super important in drums. Why? Because if I have this microphone like this, and it's mounted to the side of my snare drum, above the snare drum, there's a hi-hat, and the hi-hats are pretty loud depending on the hats that you're playing with. Above your floor tom, there maybe be a china cymbal. Next to your rack, you might have a crash cymbal or a ride cymbal of some sort, and it's really important that this microphone only pick up what I want it to pick up. And that rear rejection in the back of the microphone is gonna mean that it's gonna do its best to keep the hi-hat and any other unwanted frequencies from the cymbals, or even the toms in some cases, coming into the microphone. So it's just gonna be capturing what it's pointed at. And if that's on the snare drum, then hopefully it'll just be capturing mostly snare drum. Now I'm seeing right here across the bottom, we do have just above where the XLR connection is, there's a little print. It says 48 volt phantom power. So that's telling me right away this is a phantom powered mic, and that's probably gonna speak a little bit to the type of capsule inside the top of the mic. Okay, so this capsule is a small diaphragm condenser cardioid microphone. Also says that the way that the capsule is housed at the end of the gooseneck, it's saying here that this is gonna protect it from a drumstick hit, which, I mean, I hope so. I mean, that's good that they sort of put some thought into that. Depending on how hard you're swinging and where your microphone placement is, you could still probably do some damage. So, you know, still be cautious when you're recording with a microphone of any type. But just speaking a little bit further to that concept of protecting the capsule from the drumsticks, I actually I think it was 2 videos ago, performance-wise, so I did, Waking the Demon. So when I was recording Waking the Demon, I actually at one point missed my bell on the ride cymbal, because you know how in the verse for that guy, there's a lot of bell, or I guess the chorus for that guy, whatever. There's a lot of bell, really cool defined bell in some of the drum parts of that song. And I had an SM57, as you guys have seen throughout a lot of the videos. I have an SM57 usually typically like directly over, pointed directly down. I have my ride bell / ride cymbal to pick that up, because it being in the center of the kit, the overheads definitely struggle to get to it. So I usually have an SM57 directly on that, and I missed the bell, I hit the 57, and the plastic little protector on the capsule snapped right off, and I did some damage to the capsule, and the microphone was rendered useless at that point. So it does happen, right? Like if you record a lot of drums on your own, eventually you probably will experience something like that, where you hit a microphone and you maybe leave a dent in the head of the microphone, or you completely break it. This was the first time I actually completely broke one. I was using a Sennheiser 421 on one of my toms once, and I hit that, and it left like a stick imprint in the screen over top of the capsule on that microphone, but it didn't break it to the point where I broke the SM57. So yeah, I mean, just little features like that, quality build material, you know, keeping in mind that this is a percussive instrument and things do happen with sticks and things can occur, you know, when you're playing as hard as I do. Very cool that they put some thought into that. We'll see how they hold up under my play later on when I get to the kit. But that's it for the DM20. Very stylish looking microphone, definitely dig it. I really like the gooseneck, it's really strong and sturdy. The thing about goosenecks too is, like, depending on the accessory that you're using, these guys can definitely sort of over time lose their tension, so that you kind of put it into place and then it falls from there, or it won't really stay. This being made out of, I would say steel, I'm not sure, but whatever it's made out of feels super, super durable. We'll have to see how it lasts test of time. Really, really impressed so far with that microphone. Now we got 2 more microphones that we're gonna be unboxing, and let's get into those. So moving from my left to right, we'll go to the center stack here. All these are the same, that's why I've kind of set them up like the way I did on the table, and these ones are labeled the SR25s. Let's bust it open and take a look. We have a quick little user's guide, just one little page there. It's gonna have listed, has the XLR connection, some of the specifications, the polar pattern, frequency response listed here. Frequency response of the SR25 is typical. It's just 20 to 25K, okay, word. Power requirements, again, 48 volts phantom power, peak acoustic input 145 decibels, output connection, XLR of course, output impedance 65 ohms, balanced between 2 and 3 pins, or sorry, between pins 2 and 3. Yep, everything else is pretty standard. The weight, actually, it's 160 grams. Yeah, it's definitely a weightier. It's definitely a little bit of a heavier microphone. What am I gonna be using these guys on? These are kind of like more all-around microphones, and they're great with high volume outputs. So I'm gonna be using these on the cymbals, right? So these can be used kind of like in an overhead configuration, I believe, but I'm gonna have, because I have 6 of them, I'm gonna have them set up as closed mics for my cymbals, which especially in my session work, I value the ability to do that, and I do it in all of my session work. When I rent my microphones, I make sure to get, like typically with my China, I have it Oh, excuse me. Typically with my China, I have it closed mic with an SM81. Yeah, so I like to close mic the cymbals, and then sometimes I even do overheads on top of that. The reason why is just because it gives the producer that I'm working with or the band that I'm working with a lot more control of their mix, because you can directly control each cymbal when you have them closed mic'd in that sort of configuration. I just think it gives you, of course, as I said, more control, but then a better quality mix in the end. So I'm stoked to see these all set up on my cymbals and see how my cymbal mix turns out with these new microphones. These microphones too I've seen used on like guitar amplifiers, so like if you're remicing cones kind of thing for tone, you can use this. I've also seen these used on like acoustic or grand piano type style piano rigs where you mic the inside of the piano with these. Yeah, so they have a lot of applications. Super excited to see how this holds up on my cymbals. All right, and now we have one more mic to check out. The guy over here on my right, this is the SR20 LS, and this, let's bust into it. We only have two of these, and I'm not actually sure about these microphones, what this is gonna be used for, getting it at the kit, so let's take a look. Honestly, this SR20 LS just looks like a much bigger version of the SR25. It's like the big brother of the 25, as you can see there. This microphone didn't come with any, like a user manual inside, so I had Lindsay real quick just look up what this would be used for, and I had a suspicion that it'd be for the kick drum, but I just wanted to clarify before I go saying anything. But yeah, these were sent as kick mics. So when I was contacting Earthworks and talking to them, I told them that my current kick drum configuration for session work, I have a Beta 91 on the inside of the kick for a click, right, closer to the batter head for that click, that pop, and then in the actual porthole, I've been placing a Beta 25A. So now I'll be replacing those two with these SR20 LS microphones. I'll put one inside the kick drum close to the batter head for all the attack and all the punch that I want, because, you know, when you're playing drums in this genre, you want a lot of click in your kick drum, but you also want a good amount of thud and low end. The reason for that too is just because a lot of the playing that we do is like kick patterns lined up with guitar walls. So you have sort of maybe just open chugging lined up with the guitar, the bass, and then the kick drum. And if you don't have a good amount of high end and attack inside of your kick tone, then the kick can get lost in the other instruments that you're layering it with, especially because, you know, when you drop tune those guitars and that guitar wall gets so thick, it can really drown out just the thud and the low end from the kick. So in order to cut through that, you gotta have a lot of click. Another thing I'll say, speaking to that point, is a lot of people I've seen in the comments over the years with my covers, they point out that some people like the sound of my kick a lot and others have a problem with it. You know, it sounds too processed, too unnatural because of how much high end I bring out of it with the way I EQ it. I wanna speak just real quick to the reason why I do that, and it's so simple. You gotta keep in mind, when I'm doing my videos, I'm mixing my drums with one application in mind. I'm not thinking about headphones, I'm not thinking about what it's gonna sound like on Spotify, I'm not thinking about what it's gonna sound like in a car radio, you know, driving down the highway listening to XM satellite. I'm not thinking about any of those things. When I am mixing my drums, I'm thinking about one application, and that's mobile. That's it, because I look at my analytics, I see that 65% of my channel watches my videos on some sort of iPad, some sort of iPhone or Android phone or Samsung tablet. And when you listen to my mixes, the reason why the kick is so damn clicky is because there's not a lot of low end in the output on any of those devices. So I have to make sure that that kick drum is cutting through the mix, even on those devices that have a very thin sort of frequency width as far as the output goes. And that's why I EQ my drums the way I do. And part of the way you get that tone, get that response in your kick drum is definitely gonna be 2 to 3 microphones on it. So yeah, this just comes back to why they sent me 2, is because I'm gonna be miking the kick drum from 2 different places, the kick port and inside close to the batter head. All right, so the last thing I wanna come back to and talk about is just these Earthworks precision level pads. So these are attenuators. Now, what do these do? These are gonna prevent overload on your input. Essentially, these are gonna be used to minimize the amount of distortion by providing additional headroom inside of your signal. With all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this unboxing and a look at what I'm gonna be using at the kit going forward. I have another unboxing that's gonna be coming out soon with the final piece of what's gonna be my new studio, and I'm super excited for that unboxing as well. And that unboxing is actually gonna pair extremely well with this mic set. So we're gonna talk about these microphones further in that video with that new product, and we're gonna be doing some demoing of these mics in that video as well. With all that said, I want to leave a massive thank you to Earthworks for supplying me with this mic set that I cannot wait to put to good use. I've got a lot of plans for these guys going forward, and I'm actually going to try and include those SR314s in the setup as well, because I have a hunch, I haven't tried it yet, but I have a hunch that those guys are going to work out really well on either my snare drum or probably my hi-hat. So really curious to see how my mixes improve going forward because of these new microphones. With all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for checking it out. If you want to connect with me further, you can do so at my social media pages on the screen for you and in the description below. If you want to support this channel, you can find a merch link and a Patreon link in the description below as well. Thanks so much for checking out this video. You can expect a follow-up to this video where we will do much deeper dives into these microphones. But until then, I will see you guys all very soon with something new.